number on it. And what happens if you never change the role? What if you disregard that number completely? Boom, right? That's one of my mechanic friends. What would happen if you never change the role? Because the oil would turn to sludge. It would be basically like a demo. It would coagulate in your engine would eventually. But that happens if you never maintain your vehicle. Vehicle can make a house needs maintenance. Those of you who get into gardening this summer, what happens if you never weed your garden? Are you going to have a garden left? You're not. It's going to be weeds. Maintenance isn't every winter and fall to maintain the tree stands we put up. Because if you don't maintain those grass, don't take that tree stand down, you're going to get very unpleasant surprise somewhere. Maintenance is key. So consider the title that we're going to discuss this morning, the topic that we have today. How do you maintain unity? Maintenance is necessary in the physical world. But sometimes, do we forget to maintain the church? So maintaining unity begins with God. Someone turn over to that very familiar passage there in 2 Peter chapter 1 and down in verse 3. Very familiar passage. Someone read that for us to remind us of that.
According to the divine power that's given unto all things,
so we see here what is God given to us. Pertaining to physical life, we can also make the application to give us what we need for spiritual life. But it begins with God, and it begins with Him because, first of all, of His nature. Over in Hebrews chapter 13 and down in verse 8, we find something about God. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Now, what does that show us about God?
never change.
He never changes. So He's never going to change. We can see over in the book of Malachi, see that point also. Down in chapter 3 and verse 6, it says, For I am the Lord, I do not change. If God does not change, in His nature He's eternal, He is changeless. Why is it so important when it comes to the topic of unity? Why does it matter?
We don't, the only way we can be united.
Okay. So why is the nature of God so important when it comes to unity?
He's always the same. We're going to follow this the same today as hopefully our kids do, later with the birthday. He's not going to move the goalposts.
Right. God does not change. He is going to be consistent. Our humans are consistent. We might say, well, I would do this one day. But then the next day, the next week, we say, well, I want to do something different. We change. God does not. And that's why it's so important. God's nature is so important because of who He is. Because of His attributes. Does the chaos produce order? No. So if we have a creator who is always changing, and then He says, and He gives us His book, if He's always changing, how much trust can we put in it? We could. But because God is eternal, because God is changeless, because He is consistent, we can understand maintaining unity begins with God because of God. Because of His nature, He has given us what we need to have trust in it, to have the ability to create an atmosphere of unity. It starts with God. It goes back to what you read a few moments ago in 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3, in His message. And someone turn over to John chapter 17 and read that very familiar passage down in verse 17. John chapter 17 and verse 17.
By this, by your truth, your word is true.
So here we can see that God has given us the foundation on which we must be beautified. Here's what Jesus said back in Matthew chapter 7 down there, beginning about verse 24. The parable there, the account of the wise man versus the foolish man. The wise man built his house on the rock. Now, if you back up in that context, what was that rock? Right, the gospel, the words that Jesus presented. He has given to us the foundation on which we must be unified, which Timothy read a few moments ago there, John chapter 17, verse 17, which would be what? What is that foundation that Jesus, right, is true? He's given to us that foundation. Turn over to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, we reference truth, we reference the gospel, the sayings of Christ. And there is a basic truth of the gospel that we must be united in. It is the foundation, it's the premise of what the New Testament scriptures are based on. There in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, beginning in verse 1, says, moreover, brethren, I declare to you that the gospel which I preached to you, which also you received, and in which you stand, by which also you are saved, if you hold fast that word which I preached to you, unless you believe in vain. Now here's the foundation. We call this the heart of the gospel. Then in verse 3, for I delivered to you first of all, that which I received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures, that he was seen by Cephas, then by the 12. What do those few verses show us about the gospel? What's so important? Okay, he died, and then what happened? Okay, before he rose, he was buried, right? The death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ. Now, if you didn't have those three things, how useful would the Scriptures be if that's the truth? Our faith is based on what Christ did. God has given us the truth of the gospel. He's given us the foundation on which we must be unified, and we can trust in that because of who God is. Maintaining unity, if we are going to properly maintain the church in this area, it begins with God. Any comments or questions up to this point? Okay. Maintaining unity begins with God. Maintaining unity also continues after God gives it to us. The responsibility becomes whose? Becomes our responsibility. Let's look at a few passages. Galatians chapter 1. Galatians chapter 1, and can someone read verses 8 and 9? Maintaining unity continues with us, so we must learn to use what God has given to us.
But no, we were next to have preached any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let it be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let it be accursed.
So what has God given to us? What is so important about that?
He has given us his word, and we have to live by his word and preach his word and to be saved by his word.
And also back to his word. Outside of his word, right? And outside of his word, what should we use? Should we use anything else? We shouldn't. Because of the responsibility God has placed on that, on us to use his word, we should not use anything else, even though someone claims to be an angel from heaven. Or even if they claim to be receiving direct revelation from God somewhere. If it is outside of this, should we use it? We should not. Maintaining unity continues with us to use what God has given to us. But how should we use it? Turn over to Ephesians chapter 4. There in Ephesians chapter 4, down in verse 15, we find the way we should present. It says there in verse 15 of Ephesians chapter 4, but speaking the truth in love, they grow up in all things into Him, who is head. Right. They can continue to read through verse 16 to see the unity and how it all works together. But how should we use what God has given to us, verse 15? Right. Speaking the truth in love. Ever run across someone who means well, but they present it wrong? We must present what God has given to us in a way, in a loving fashion, continuing with us to have that responsibility to use the foundation for unity. And what would happen if someone failed to speak the truth in love? What would happen? Okay, no one's going to obey it. What about maybe someone who comes in and starts to maybe say what's right, but they go about it in the wrong way? What might that do to someone who maybe has been a Christian for many years? What would they do? Right, they could leave. Using this, we must understand the principles that God has given to us. If we want to maintain unity, yes, we must use what God has given to us, but we must use it and present it in a proper manner. Any questions or comments on this one? Okay, turn over to Philippians chapter 3. Maintaining unity, yes, hopefully God has continued as we're looking through this study here, continually with us. We've seen how we must present it. We've seen we must learn to use what God has given to us, nothing else. But we must agree, we must learn to agree with what it says. Not the thoughts that we come up with, not the thoughts of maybe some scholar. It is outside of what God says. It's only read verses 15 through 16 of Philippians chapter 3.
Therefore, let us continue at the mature habits mind. If in offending anything you think otherwise, God will reveal even this to you. Nevertheless, to the degree that we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule.
The verse 15 speaks about what? Okay. It also uses that word mature. Being like-minded takes a great level of maturity. Then it says down in verse 16, nevertheless, to the degree we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule, and let us be of the same mind. How is that possible? Just in general life, how is it possible to all be in agreement on one thing, let's say at work? Well, it can happen. What must there be in order for that to happen? Willingness, okay. To get the rule to go by. Your rule to go by, and the willingness to follow it. The same thing happens here. What is the rule God has given to us? His word. Okay, and then how should we view it? Well, we must be willing to act in a mature manner, to have this mind. And then down to verse 18, to the degree we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule, the same standard, and let us be of the same mind. We must learn to agree with what it says, not the own ideas that we come up with, our own thoughts, our own concepts, but only what God has given to us. Only by doing that can unity continue with God. Any comments or questions?
What reason why we can't keep unity with,
What are some of those areas that they like to go away from what God says?
once they always say,
And how can we be unified if someone is presenting something that's outside of Scripture? So as those who are doing our best to live by the standard, well, read it.
Two walk together, except they did agree.
That's a very good principle, and something that we can see in our world today. How easy is it to have a friend that always fights you? Would you say you're very friendly? In your relationship, healthy? You're always saying, well, I want to do this. I think this is the way it should be, but the other there's no compromise in this stuff. In order to agree with people, you have to be of the same mind. Now, to what standard are we holding ourselves to? Right, you're holding our residents, so we should be trying to get other people to hold to the same standard, the highest standard that is known to man in one job. But we must learn to agree with what it says and not go outside of it, as that is a big problem in our world. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Maintaining unity continues with us. We must be learned to use what God said, presented in a loving fashion, but we also must learn to change ourselves. What do you mean by that? Let's look there in the book of Philippians. Chapter 2. Beginning in verse 1, it comes down to the attitude with which we have. It's a choice that we get to make, how we are going to live. There, verse 1 of Philippians chapter 2, it says, therefore, if there is any consolation in Christ, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, any affection and mercy, fulfill my joy by being like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and of one mind. How much division we can see, or how much division should there be seen? There should be none. You are supposed to be like-minded. You're supposed to have the same love. You are supposed to be of one accord and of one mind. So how can we continue? How can we make this possible? Verses 3 through 4 show the attitude that we must have in order to continue to maintain unity in the church. Verse 3 says, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look at not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. Now take that principle. If someone is always trying to serve someone else better than they care for themselves, what type of an atmosphere is going to be seen in the church? Would it be negative? No. Service they preached, I can't remember which one, but he said that after all his years of counseling, married couples, helping people work through things, he said in a marriage, what he has learned is that it is always successful. When one spouse was trying to serve the other more than the other served. It goes both ways. Each individual, even in the Lord's church, must try to lift someone else up. Not looking at only for himself, which is necessary. You shouldn't neglect yourself. But you should always seek the opportunity to help someone else. Be careful. And if we do this, if we have this attitude, it goes back to verse 2. Fulfill my joy by being like-minded. That's the same, not being the one point of one mind. How can this be possible? There is context, verses 3 and 4 by this attitude. An attitude of service and an attitude of humility. A direct way to maintain unity in the church. Any comments or questions on the text? The great principle to consider because after all, this is the attitude that Christ had when he was on earth. Something to remember as we strive to maintain unity in the church. Maintaining unity continues with us, not only in the attitude that we should have, but we should look to God. Now, we've seen this many times, but I want you to turn with me over to the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. There's a problem here in the church, and Paul was writing his first letter there to the church anymore. And the problem was they started seeking credentials of men. They started seeking a reputation from those in the world, from those sometimes in the church, instead of properly looking to God to see what really matters. So they got distracted from the unity that they should have been focusing on, and instead they brought division into the church. There in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, down in verse 10, let's read through verse 15, and see the issue. That now I plead with you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. And notice swiftly the division that was happening in the church. Verse 11 says, for it has been declared to me concerning you, my brethren, by those of Chloe's household, that there will what? Contention. What is it? Contention. Disagreement. Sometimes they fight. Among the brethren. Now, that's what the picture of the Lord's church in the Scriptures should look like. Shouldn't be one of strife. Shouldn't be one of argument. Shouldn't be one where people just cannot seem to get along. There were contentions among them. Now, what would they do? Verse 12 says, now I say this, that each of you says, I am Paul, or I am of Apollos, or I am of Cephas, or I am of Christ. So what they were doing is they were starting to reach out and grab hold of names. They were trying to lend credibility to who they were by the person that had been in their life. And this, what in verse 13 is Christ divided, was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized in the name of Paul? Now, Paul goes through a logical explanation of why he was thankful that he had only baptized you, to try to mitigate, try to take away this problem that was against the unity in the church. In order to maintain unity, as it continues thus and that responsibility is placed upon us, we must look to God and not to reach out for credentials from other men, even though they may be great government. Don't use that as the source of credibility, because then someone else is going to come along and say, well, this person is better. And then they're going to get into arguments. Then they're going to say, well, I was baptized by this great preacher, or I was baptized in this great congregation. At the end of the day, what does it matter as long as you obey the division first, the unity and the balance that must be found in the church. Any comments or questions on this passage?
One thing about it, we can have disagreement. Both of us could be wrong.
Sure. And you can see that in the religious world over the years. There are sometimes disputes and arguments about something, and sometimes both people are wrong. Now, who is ultimately right in every situation? Well, God is, and He's given us the answer in His Word. Any comments or questions? Okay. Maintaining unity continues with us. Learn to look to God, not credentials from God, and then that's going to cause disputes and dissension in the church. But in order to maintain unity, we go back once again another passage to consider on the attitude we must have. Over in the book of Mark. Mark chapter 12. And can somebody read verse 31? Mark chapter 12, verse 31.
Second, it's like namely this. And the greater than me.
So what does that passage speak?
We were the brother neighbor of the book. To his good to do. We need good too, but we need to be looking to his good.
Right. It seems like our culture has kind of transitioned into more of a culture that if I feel like the feelings that can hurt, well, I'm going to just run your name through the mud on social media, or I'm going to call you out to make sure I can do everything I can so you never have to proceed. That's pretty much the attitude of hustle. You can see it in adults, you can see it in teenagers, you can sadly see it a lot of times in very small children. It's just the way our culture is trending in that area. But in the words of Christ, there is exactly the way it should. Should we be putting people down? Instead, we are to do what? Well, build them up, to love them, to consider them, and to sometimes humble ourselves.
This time, call people back.
Sure. And you can even see that in the example of Christ. There were times where he had to call people out. Read Matthew chapter 23. So, woe against the scribes and the Pharisees, he called them out by name, saying, you are essentially, you look good on the outside of the whitewashed tombs. You look like you've been cared for and presented for, but inside, you are, well, what's inside of the tomb. Right. So he called them out for their hypocrisy. And even sometimes we must do the same, especially when it comes down to the topic of God. Here comes the question for this one. Okay. Maintaining unity continues with us. There are many passages to consider on this topic. We've seen several about the attitude we must have, what we should use, how we should use it. But also, it comes down to dealing with issues in a proper manner. Let's turn over to Matthew chapter 18. Matthew chapter 18, we find here the principle that Jesus gives about dealing with a brother or someone who sins or transgresses against you. Down in verse 6 and down to verse 9 of Matthew chapter 18 is a great passage that shows us the danger of what happens if we cause someone to stumble. Stay away from that. Don't bring something in that's going to divide the church. It's something that would cause someone to stumble, not only of them being in danger of losing their soul, but also community. Don't bring something in that's going to cause that. But instead, beginning in verse 15, we find the principle of what should be done in the issue of if a brother sins against you. It says there beginning in verse 15. Moreover, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. To hold that by two or three witnesses, every word may be established. And if he refuses to hear in verse 17, tell to the church. But if he refuses even to hear the church, let it be to you by a heathen and tax collector. So what are the principles? What is the progression? How should these issues be handled?
It always should be between you and the person you have.
Sometimes we get the third principle, and we take it and we put it in step one. So what should be step one when it comes to the other? Go to it. Sometimes it's as simple as a conversation where it's, I feel like you've done this, was that your intention? And maybe that was not the intention at all. It's simple. But how many people in our culture want to tell someone that they may be messed up?
Too many.
People want to tell people they messed up, but also sometimes in the church we don't want to tell people they messed up because it's uncomfortable. It's not easy. What does Jesus say? You need to go to them first. That is the first step. And all of this is going to help if we follow what he says. It's going to create a better atmosphere of unity in the church. Go to them. See if you can work it out. And if there is a problem, if it's a matter of sin, if he will not respond to it, what's the next step? That's the next step. You take witnesses with you, and maybe then you take it to the church. Now, a lot of times, congregations, sometimes we get verse 17 and we put it with verse 15. We take it to the church, and then you ask, well, did you deal with that properly? Did you take those first two steps to try to regain a road? And if you get step 3 before step 1, how much problem is there in that situation? You can see so many congregations of Lord's Church have been divided over issues because of how things were handled. We all of Christ gives us. He was wise, he was God, he gave us the principle. We want to deal with these things that must be addressed. Do it his way. Then, the unity of the congregation of the Lord's Church is going to be in a much better state than if you had handled it the other way around. Any comments or questions up to this point from that topic? Okay. Maintaining unity continues with us even in dealing with our brethren if they have fallen away. But notice quickly there in Matthew chapter 18. One of the ways to continue the unity, to maintain it in the church, is also our responsibility to have a willingness to forgive. There, verse 21, and you could read all the way to verse 35 to see this. So we find there a question that Peter asked Christ. Verse 21, and Peter came to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Up to 7 times. Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. Now, is that a definite number? Are you supposed to be counting? You're not supposed to be counting. 70 times 7, well, they have X amount of times that I will forgive them before I say it. Now, with that said, a willingness to forgive is going to be based on what? Their repentance. Does God forgive us before we repent? No. Does that mean we should forgive people better than they don't? Can we attempt to do something that God will not? God is not going to forgive until we follow the proper steps in order to work it.
We have to follow what it says. We have to go with it. We got a problem. We need to go with it.
Sure.
We'll make it come to you.
Sure. And that's going to go and do great things to help maintain unity in the church. But on this topic of forgiveness, our willingness to forgive should be there. Now, this person may not come to us. Maybe they decided that he does not matter, and they are never going to. You forgive them. Does that mean you should no longer forgive them? Now, you cannot forgive them biblically. You cannot forgive them until they take those steps. But your willingness is something that should be there. Any comments or questions? Okay, maintaining unity starts with God. We look at quite a few passages to show us how it must continue with us. What does maintaining unity not include? We've seen what it takes to maintain unity. We've seen how God has given us what we need to have unity in the first place. But what does maintaining unity not include? Let's start with 2 Timothy chapter 2. 2 Timothy chapter 2. Again in verse 23, we find a principle about something that should be avoided. There's verse 23 of 2 Timothy chapter 2. It says, but avoid foolish and ignorant disputes, knowing that they generate strife. Verse 24 says, and a servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but be gentle to all, able to teach, and patient. So what should be avoided if we want to maintain unity? Right. Foolish and useless, ignorant, unlearned disputes. Now,
Good example would be saying, you know, when people pretend to be good as brought a meal, it's like, let's say that. If you said he didn't bring what he should have, comes out to me that he didn't bring in the first fruit, whether it should have been me or not. We don't know, but he didn't bring the first fruit.
Right.
Okay.
Great example. Another great example would be, well, what does God look like? If you can find an answer in the Bible, it's like that. Who knows what God looks like? Right. And so if you are going to sit here and argue about that reality, someone's going to be fed up with it. They're going to talk about over something that really doesn't. We know that no one can be directed God never knows, but God covered it. It was described there in ways that we can understand it as you have to see the back of God essentially. No one knows exactly what he looks like. Someone says, well, you got a face, you got one hand and fingers, well, because we made the image of God. Someone says, well, all we made in the image is you're sure. It's one of those things, like you said, Rusty doesn't have any bearing on something. If you can send me a picture. In order to maintain unity, those are some things these useless debates and arguments should be avoided. They're going to cause more harm than good. There are topics like that. Maintaining unity does not include any consequences. Okay. Maintaining unity also does not include preaching God as a means of gain. Let's turn over to 1 Timothy chapter 6. And can someone read verse 5? 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 5.
Perverse disputing of men of corrupt mind. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 5.
Yes.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt mind and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw us.
So some were using these things, and they were even supposing that godliness was a means of gain. Now, if you are serving the Lord, whether as a preacher, as a teacher, as an elder, as a deacon, as a member, if you are using the church as a way to get gain, what type of an atmosphere is that going to produce? Is it only produce an atmosphere of unity, or is that going to cause problems and strife in the church? It's going to cause problems. That is something that maintaining unity does not include. You can read Luke chapter 14 to see another area of something that maintains the unity cannot include there in that parable of those Pharisees who desire to put themselves on that fire. They try to exalt themselves, and we can see there in that passage that Christ told them that if you exalt yourself, you want to be humble, but if you humble yourself, then you'll be exalted. Maintaining unity does not have any room for a proud attitude. Maintaining unity also is important to know, especially in the religious world today. Maintaining unity, we want to create that atmosphere in the church. We can see if we're going to the study in Ephesians chapter 4. Can you come to the scriptures with a bias? Can you come to the scriptures with an agenda and still create unity as God intended? There in John chapter 15 is a great example of a passage that people in the religious world take, and they try to make it say that the vines and branches argument. What do people normally say about that in the religious world? What do they say? The vine and branches. What do people in the religious world say? The vine is private.
The branches are denomination.
Right. And so they're coming with it. They're coming to the scriptures with the Bible.
But they've got a bias, but if they read it, it's very plain. It's plain. How long?
Right. And it's talking about, and he's talking to those individual people who are there. You can look at the group.
That's easy.
Right. And even the personal bonus in that. a religious group. That's what people want to say. And so that's what they preach. And the people say, Jesus is the vine, and all the branches are all these religious groups are all taking different roads, as we talked about that years ago. An example of coming to the scriptures and having an agenda and having your mind made up before you actually study out what it says. Any comments or questions? Okay, you're almost out of time, so just a couple passages. And in order to maintain unity, go back to that main text of our study throughout this quarter. There's Ephesians chapter 4. There, beginning in verse 4, we see that in order to maintain unity, in order to create what God wants in the church, we must be in agreement with the singular nature of the Christian religion. There, beginning in verse 4, it says, there is one body and one spirit, just as you are called to one public you're called. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. This is the religion about the Christian religion. I'd encourage you this afternoon if you have some time, if you have a songbook, maybe you can borrow one for the afternoon. I would encourage you to sit down and read Psalm number 144. It's in really well with this concept of unity. That song, What You the Title, I'm familiar with that. It shows us, it teaches us, it's a reminder of what we are unified in and what is the attitude that we should help ourselves have, but also help the rest of our brethren. We're just about out of time. Is there any final comments or questions before we conclude? If not, thank you very much for your attention and participation this morning.